Here we go, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another amazing live stream. That's right. We've been doing more live streams this year for Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most average pop culture podcast. Brought to you by Golden Ticket Cinemas. Of course, our good friends over at Sailfish Comics, Believe Podcast Network, and let's not forget about Pro Cover Exteriors for all your window, siding, and roofing needs. I have with me in studio today Daniel Leonard and Brennan Aberly.
Aberly.
I said it right. I said it right on the second time. We're going to be talking about the toy drive this upcoming weekend, as well as just having some fun and, just some recaps of what we've enjoyed this year at the end of the day. So I almost got it right on the first one, Brennan. I was so close.
No, you're totally fine. It's a weird last name. You got it. It's good to be here, Brian.
I'm glad to have y'all both on. So Daniel, you're the one that kind of set this all up. Why don't you go ahead and just kind of tell everybody what to expect on Saturday and what they can do to help out.
Well, my buddy Ethan Archer actually came to me a couple weeks ago and had mentioned helping out with an event that he's doing over at Odin as well that day and night. So shout out to Odin because they'll be doing the same thing day long and all night with the show on December 14th. When he mentioned to me, I'd already kind of had it in my idea. I've done several in the past with former businesses, so I figured out why not bring one to downtown. Knowing you for so long, I knew that you'd always be there to help me down, support the kids. Also, Brennan, actually, our kids are like a week apart in age, so I knew that he'd be down as well. So, put together a trifecta and, run at it.
Love it. Love it. So, go ahead.
I was going to say, I left out the detail. But
Yeah.
we will be starting at 12
Tell
on
people what it's
Saturday.
all about.
Yeah, my bad. It will be at 12, starting at 12 noon on Saturday, December 14th at Bodega downtown, 313 South Green Street, Suite 100. You can't miss it. There's a big orange lightning bolt on the wall. Best sandwiches in the city, lots of selection, goodies for the kids. But yeah, we're just going to hang out. We'll have a food special going for the day. We'll have Jay Timber coming and playing music for an hour and a half. Hopefully the weather's good for it. We'll have several raffle baskets from different businesses around downtown and midtown. We'll have one. We'll have gift certificates from Nate Hall, Legacy Iron Tattoo. We'll have a photo package from Still Shot Photography. Brendan will give you a free speeding ticket, free sandwich, but lots more to offer for sure. But we'll be accepting toys and donations, and all the baskets will be raffled off as well.
Love it. Love it. I know you've been doing this. You did this for a couple of years when you had the beer shop.
Gate City Growlers. Shout out to Israel.
Yep. So, I'm glad that you're bringing it back. Of course, as soon as you hit me up, I was all in. I know Brennan's been a fan of the podcast for a little while, and we're glad to have you on right now. So, Brendan, what did it mean to you, for Daniel to hit you up, and, how excited are you for this event coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, this is great. So I own a law firm. I started in 2019. I've been practicing since 2012, but I have a law partner, Julie Connolly, and we started Aberly and Connolly. We do mostly all criminal, everything from speeding tickets to murder. I am in a murder trial right now, Brian, that I'm taking time away from to check in with one of my favorite podcasts. And we've always done some charitable thing at the end of the year. We used to do a lot of backpack beginnings with YMCA.
Yeah.
We want our law firm to have an ethos and a culture around helping people. So when Daniel hit me up and said, "Hey, do you want to co-sponsor a toy drive?" Especially considering some of the beneficiaries of it, like beloved Asheville, with everything that happened with Lean this year.
And that's who we'll be donating to. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I forgot to mention that we will be donating to beloved Asheville.
Just the thought of that there could have potentially been and is the reality of kids missing out on some of the specialness of Christmas because of the hurricane. Like, for us to be able to do something together to bring that magic back, it means a lot. And I appreciate Bodega reaching out to my firm, and so we're happy to participate as well.
Hey, love having you on. You and I have been friends for a while now, since the Elon Law days. So big shout outs.
Most of my student loans. I'm still in student loan debt because of all the money I spent at Stumblestillskins my 3 years there. So, but
Hey,
I had to get that whiskey card checked off.
that's
So,
right. That's right. The whiskey challenge. That's right. And I got to tell you, y'all were always great to us. Literally one of the main reasons I continue bartending. I love just being there and being the cheers of downtown Greensboro at that point, but also having you and your amazing class just coming in on a daily
yeah,
basis is what made it worth it. So it's always good to see people come up, right? At the end of
yeah,
the day, that's what it's all about. You got your own practice now. Daniel, you've been crushing it for a minute.
yeah.
And I mean, Bodega's got the best damn sandwiches in town and just all kinds of stuff. Now, what
Shout
else
out
do
to
you
Nick.
have going on? Just out
Me?
of curiosity. No, for Daniel real
Well,
quick.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I know the Bo soda a lot of people may not know about. So, tell people what else you have going on right here.
um, well, my partner Nick and I decided to start a soda line. We saw
Mhm.
the increase in Delta 9 beverages over alcohol and told him one day we're going to make some sodas. And we started with 20 cases back in July. We just picked up or had dropped off, I guess, over 300 last Thursday.
Woo.
But in between that, we probably sold about 250, 300 of our brand. Our newest ones are a bubbly melon kiwi and
Mhm.
a grape drink. And I'll kind of just keep making ones till I figure out what I really like. But yeah, 5 milligrams made by the good friends in Foothills in Winston-Salem. So we keep it local. Yeah, man, they're delicious. Yeah, tell you what, they make you happy
That's what it's all
and
about.
hungry.
I've never been to a bar where people are enjoying some beverages or smoking a little something,
But
with a THC in it
on the
and
flower,
having a terrible time.
we also have our own flower line called Bobud too, which
Oh,
is
You had your own flower
yeah, which
line.
is all THCA grown flower,
okay.
Oregon. Great quality. We have two different lines. We have an everyday smoking line, and then we have a more boutique exotic line too. We have those in store for you as well. So yeah, check them out.
Made possible by having great attorneys.
There you go.
Sure, that is fact. Yeah, when your attorneys are across the street, you can't go wrong. You know.
We got to keep it local here. That's what it's all about. Not only are we a pop culture podcast, most importantly, we're all about supporting the local businesses around us.
All day.
So, in terms of Saturday, obviously toys are definitely welcome. I think you mentioned Jay Timber
Oh
is
yeah,
going to be playing.
Jay Timber is a good friend of all of ours.
Mhm.
And he was kind enough to donate some of his time to come out and play some songs. So be sure to come out and support your boy JT. You know, buy him a sandwich, buy him a Bo soda. My man loves them, so he'll be blessing us with vocals.
You will see both of my. I have twin children, a boy and a girl. They
Wow.
turned 20 months a few days ago. Love Jay Timber. They go up front every time he plays, and they dance in the front row. They are Jay Timber's tiniest fans.
Oh
You will
man,
see
that's
them
great.
dancing Saturday at the show.
Oh gosh, that is fantastic. And Brendan, I got to ask you, especially because you live pretty close to Bodega. What's your favorite sub there? What's your go-to?
Uh, that's actually a little controversial because
Oh,
it's always rude to the maker of your food to do a build your own.
okay.
And I frequently come in here, shout out right now. This is to all your listeners. Come in and order a not guilty. I invented the sandwich.
Okay.
It is
That'll be our special for Saturday.
it's
So you
all
can take
right.
it now.
listen,
I like the name, Not
it's so
Guilty. That's
fire.
a great name for you.
It's so fire. So it's bacon, chorizo,
Ooh,
provolone cheese. It's got chipotle mayo on it. It's got lettuce and tomatoes, and it's toasted. It's absolutely perfect. Now, I don't want to be the kind of jerk that spouts off about your build your own. The ham jam is just hands down my favorite. Although it's tough. There's so many good sandwiches here, but the mixture of chorizo with brie cheese with the is it strawberry jam.
Jam,
The
mayonnaise,
ham jam is one of my
relish.
favorite. It's there's not a sandwich like it in Greensboro.
It's very sweet, savory.
It is my favorite. It doesn't look on its face like it should work, and it
right.
is my favorite sandwich here. Other than the ones I invent myself.
Yeah, Nick Benshoff created the menu. My partner, a whiz with the flavors for sure.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's a staple every time my daughter comes into town when she's getting ready to move back. So we'll probably be there more often now.
Well, Jordan,
Yeah, yeah. And I can't wait. Like she likes, I think it's the Jimmy Pesto, and I love the
Oh
Jimmy
yeah,
Pesto.
Jimmy Pesto's
The
good.
Gucci belt is always a go-to.
Yeah.
Oh
Gucci
God,
belt is one of my
Gucci belt
favorites.
is hands down number
Yeah,
one.
it's Gucci
Yeah,
Belt, Jimmy Pesto, and Ham Jam are my top
yeah,
three.
yeah. So
They're
good,
all good.
so good, and the service is always great. And this is something that downtown Greensboro has needed for so long,
Mhm.
and it's just good that we have that now.
Yeah, we
So just kind
appreciate
of like, oh, go ahead.
it. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Oh
Hard
yeah,
work pays off.
exactly. And that's the thing. Like you provide a good product, people are going to come back. And especially in this town, like I feel like Greensboro is one of those towns to where if you provide a good product and a good price, people are going to enjoy that. And it's word of mouth. It's
Mhm.
not so much like just Facebook, like, oh, look at me. And like, here I am. Like, there's not a sexy way to eat a sub. Let's just
Yeah,
go ahead and say that, people. All
you
right.
can
I
try.
mean, unless you're a
I
girl
mean,
with, some whatever it is. I'm not trying to get divorced right
that's what I
now.
was thinking.
So yeah, that's another episode for another day. But at the end of the day, we all appreciate good service, good food, and good people. And I think that's what brings us back to places like you, Bodega. And I mean, obviously with you, Brennan, like I said, I've known you for a long time, and there's never a good time to need a lawyer. But if
Yeah,
I do need one again, I'm
it's
definitely
hard.
going to reach out.
It's hard. It's hard, man. I all day long I take phone calls, and the first question you ask anybody on the phone is, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And nobody has a good answer to that question. Every Everybody I talk to, they're like, "Well, charged with possession of firearm by a felon, man."
Right.
But no, but man, I love it. I love helping people. It's
Yeah.
what my dad does. He's uh the appellate public defender of the state of Louisiana, like the entire state.
Okay.
I just love helping people who are in a tough situation, because I think, a good ethos that I live by, that I think we try to all live by, is that nobody is as bad as the worst thing that they've ever done. And helping people get out there and have a second chance, or prove, make their case against false charges when that happens too. It's an incredibly rewarding job, and it's certainly not boring, because every day is, a whole new thing. So I
Yeah,
love
you're in
it.
the middle of a murder trial now. I don't want to get blamed if your murder trial doesn't do well.
No,
All
no,
right.
no,
So,
no. Things are going great.
Here come this Saturday. How's your day? Well,
yeah, well, my lawyer was on this podcast and apparently wasn't paying attention to the trial. So awesome, awesome. So just to kind of recap a little bit of 2024. This is a pop culture podcast, but obviously I love focusing on local businesses and good friends like you guys. And Brendan, I'd love to start with you. I know that in terms of, and not just 2024 in general, but I know that we were supposed to catch up on some lawyerish shows based on the MCU, particularly
Yeah.
Daredevil and She-Hulk. So I'd love to get your kind of opinions on that, and then maybe just go into a couple things that you just really enjoyed this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 2024 has been a great year. It has been hard for me with 20-month-old twins to make it to the movie
God bless
theater.
you.
So most of the media that I've been consuming has been non-theater related. Thank God Daredevil and Wolverine was finally released on Disney Plus, so that I could get a chance to catch up on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I don't watch a lot. As a lawyer, I don't watch a lot of normal lawyer show content. So like your Law and Order, your CSI. I love that they exist though.
Yeah.
And here is why. When I'm picking a jury and I'm in a trial and I'm doing my closing arguments and stuff, and I go over what the state has failed to prove. A lot of people watch these CSI shows and they're expecting like that there's going to be some nerd who works in a lab who has found the DNA evidence that is the smoking gun in this case. And when they see that that's not what's happening in this trial, they're like, "Man, well, this guy can't be guilty because there's just no evidence." And the reality is, it's a little more nuanced.
Right.
Not all cases have what happens in CSI, and I don't mean to make light of the fact that they're not all that way, but the world I live in, we deal with kind of the opposite of CSI, where there's just no evidence that's gathered. And so, I usually try to say, look, I'm not expecting you to hold the prosecutor to the standard of what happens on Law and Order or CSI.
Sure.
But there has to be more than just, I found this in a car with 8 other people, and you
Right.
should find them all guilty. I mean, it's that's ridiculous. So I love that those things exist.
Yeah.
The content that I like to consume that is lawyer and nerd related, I can connect the two.
Yeah.
Is I'm a big fan of some of our lawyer heroes in the Marvel universe. I'm a She-Hulk fan. If you haven't read any She-Hulk, I recommend. Everybody says Dan Slott is the best kind of run. It's great. You should read Dan Slott's run on She-Hulk. But I'm a big fan of Charles Soule. He was an actual practicing attorney. He did 12 issues of She-Hulk, where it's almost like a lawyer procedural. Like every day she's sitting in her office, somebody comes in, it's kind of a surprise, and then she ends up in court in the end of that issue, defending. She does a little civil law too, but she does a lot of criminal defense. And so Charles Soule, I recommend. And then for Daredevil, don't read anything super recent. They betrayed me so personally that I can't get over how angry I am that he somehow switched to being a prosecutor in some recent runs, which is not what Daredevil is. If you go back to
He's a defender.
Brian Michael Bendis, Frank Miller obviously is kind of the gold standard of the darker Daredevil, but the law firm of Nelson and Murdoch is supposed to be a civil and criminal defense firm.
Yep.
And as a street level hero, Daredevil is defending a lot of people who are either innocent or, more importantly, overcharged and perhaps not guilty of everything that they're accused of.
Okay.
And I like that because that bears a lot more like reality. I represent people who are innocent. It happens. But I also represent people who are just not guilty of the thing that they've been accused of. And so Daredevil, as a guy who, yes, does he go out and beat up people in the street as kind of the ultimate crime fighter? Absolutely. But then he devotes his time to making sure that, the most marginalized people in society are not crushed under the weight of a police state. And so Daredevil is I'm a huge fan of. If you haven't read any and you want to start somewhere, Man Without Fear.
Man Without Fear.
Always a great place. It's got some standalone aspects to it, and then Bendis is kind of the gold standard. So those are my two defense attorney superheroes, and I consume a lot of that. The show, recommend on Netflix. Fun little fact for you. Around the 3rd or 4th episode of Netflix's Daredevil, he does represent somebody who's accused of murder, and he gives a closing argument to the jury. It's terrible in that it's only 3 minutes long. Like, you should get disbarred as a lawyer if you give a 3-minute closing argument. But
I didn't know there was a time limit.
But he says this wonderful thing.
Probably good we don't know that
about, hey, look, outside of these 4 walls, my client may face a judgment of his own making, which is, just sort of a toss away Easter egg to, look, I'm a superhero. I might beat him up outside.
Right. I'm going to fuck this dude up.
But inside these 4 walls, your job is to assess the facts and make sure that innocent people don't go to prison if there isn't evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. And it's a beautiful closing argument. And I have totally hijacked it and said it in court, hoping that someone would notice, but I don't think it has happened yet so far.
You'll know too, because that person that's going to know is going to be like,
it's probably someone
real quick. Like they can't just stand up and applaud. Yeah. They're just going to be like, I got it. They're going to give you one of these. Oh, that's so dope. And just real quick too, Brendan, just in case for any of our listeners, God forbid you're getting in any trouble at all whatsoever, how can they find you? How can they approach your practice?
Yeah, absolutely. I have invested a lot of money and time in our marketing. So if you get on Google, type in Aberly and Connolly, we're usually pretty easy to find. Actually, I have done the great work that if you get on Google and you type in Greensboro criminal lawyer, you should find us in the top 2 or 3. But what I encourage people to do is lawyers can say anything about how great they are and how what a great service they can provide.
Yeah.
I would tell people check our Google reviews because that's what we
100%.
love the most is we try to do so much extra work for people that we get a lot of people who, when they're done, say, I felt like this guy left everything on the field and cared about my situation and really didn't treat me like a number. We try to be a very ethical and holistic criminal law firm. So we're downtown. We're actually right next to the Bodega, which is why
you can come find him here.
I eat lunch here every other day.
There you go. You get a nice little kind of like consultation from you, and then you can go right next door to Bodega and enjoy a delicious sub.
If he's not in his office, just wait on the patio. He'll pop up.
and I love that because I can tell you now, being someone that's unfortunately had to go to court. I mean, I feel like at this point we've all had to go to court here in Greensboro every now and again. It always comes down to, how well was I represented? And this is also a town where I also feel like word of mouth spreads like a wildfire. So, Brendan, it's great to know that you're getting all those reviews. I would expect nothing less, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not expecting you to be someone that's going to get like 2 stars or 1 stars. I, just knowing you, expect 5-star reviews, and that's fantastic. And I can vouch for this guy. He's never had to represent me, thank goodness, knock on wood. But if you need some help, hit him up.
Thank you.
You got it. So, Daniel, tell us a little bit about, pop culture-wise, whether music, movies, anything, TV shows, what you enjoyed this year and what you're getting ready to look forward to next year, maybe.
Man, most of my time is watching Bluey.
That's right.
I know every episode of all 3 seasons. I feel like. No, I mean, I really don't watch many movies. It's more I just don't sit still long enough. I will say I watched that. I guess Wonka, the new Willy Wonka one. I've always been a fan of Willy Wonka. I absolutely love that movie. I thought it was great. Love J. Cole's album. I hate all the beef that goes on. I think Kendrick's a whiny little bitch about everything. But
tell him how you feel.
My opinion. I mean, he's amazing at this. But I'm like, you're one of the best rappers alive right now. Why are you so worried about what everyone's saying?
That's fair.
Like, come on, J. Cole's just like, I didn't want to have to bury you, but I still respect and love you. So I'm just gonna sit over here and be quiet because I'm a king.
J. Cole took the best route. He was like, that's between y'all.
I think
J. Cole's he's the best rapper alive right now.
What we need to see is Daniel's Spotify Wrapped on 2024 because I bet
it's Rick Ross and Jay-Z.
It is Wu-Tang, Rick Ross, Jay-Z, and then Wheels on the Bus go around.
Mac Miller, and then,
everything's going to be Bluey on the top. Yeah.
He's in the top 1% of Bluey listeners this year.
Proudly. No, but I tried to. Yeah, that's right. I started. I'm excited to watch Gladiator 2. I actually just watched Gladiator 1 for the first time
really?
A week or 2 ago. Yeah, no.
Wow.
I'd seen the little snips of it, but I never sat and watched it all the way through. Absolutely amazing movie. So I'm real stoked to see 2 because I really like Denzel. Yeah, and I hear he kind of just takes the cake in it.
Denzel, I mean, it's Denzel as if he got transported from Training Day to ancient Roman times. Yeah. But he's still great. Visually, it's great. I think it's not Pedro Pascal, who's also great in the film, but the other guy is also named Pascal.
Who's the guy from Stranger Things who's also in the Fantastic Four?
Oh, yes. I cannot remember his name, but he is one of it's twin emperors. And this is not like a spoiler because there's like a lot of shit. There's a lot of moving parts here. And that's why I was like, how do you do a sequel this many years later? Obviously, we did it last year or the year before with Top Gun Maverick. They still picked it up pretty well, story-wise, but this one has a lot of moving parts because you have Denzel, who's a former slave who was freed and is now, like, pretty much buying gladiators to perform in Rome, but his plan is to take over Rome. But then, yes, old boy from Stranger Things is one of the twin. At this point now, they have twin emperors, and he's one of the twins. And they're just fucking nut jobs.
Yeah. What was that? Those About to Die?
What's that?
It was on, I think it was on Disney or but it was basically, it was kind of like that. Like this dude grew up in the slums, and now he wants to buy a gladiator team. It sounds like, and then overthrow Rome.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly it.
Yeah, I know which one. I know which one you're talking about.
It's a decent show. I did watch that show.
Yeah, so that's Denzel's character, but then you have these two villains, which you are correct. It's a dude, Eddie. He played Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie.
On
That was
Stranger
his name of the
Things,
show.
and then he's in the new Fantastic Four movie as well as the Human Torch.
This is basically a prequel to Fantastic Four, since Fantastic
right.
was also in it.
Right. So, but yeah, it was good. Like visually, it's a great thing to see on film. Is it going to be something that I buy and rewatch over and over again, like I did with Gladiator? Probably not. But I will say this for Gladiator. Gladiator also came out at the time that like DVDs first came out.
Yeah.
So I will give it that, to where it's like when you're trying to showcase your DVD collection and your surround sound, like Gladiator and Matrix, like those are the two movies you're putting on. And you're like, check out my 2.1 surround sound right now. Now it's all like 8.10.
Now, Gladiator 2 was Ridley Scott was still connected to.
You're Gladiator 2?
I forgot to mention this. One of my favorite things of 2024, man.
Yeah.
Alien Romulus, I absolutely loved. And here's the thing.
Good. I watched that one.
I liked all the Alien movies. Yes.
Yeah.
Is Alien 3 basically disavowed by Fincher? Yes. Does Alien Resurrection have its problems? Sure. But But the difference between Alien 1, which was this artistic, gorgeous, film, and Aliens, which is, Cameron taking it in this like action, direction. Alien Romulus captured both of that and turned it into this movie that still had this like 70s retro future vibe to it. You have the classic heroine that you always have to have in every Alien movie. But I thought it was wonderfully acted. The story was fantastic. It was visually stunning. Alien Romulus was one of the favorite movies that I watched this year.
I couldn't agree more. And I think they just greenlit a sequel to that, and it was so good. And I agree with everything you just said.
Right down to like, going back onto the installation in your pajamas with a rifle, like kind of how Aliens ended. Like there were so many Easter eggs to what made both Alien and Alien so good. It was wonderful.
Yeah. And I think what they're going to do with the next one is set it up to be like, here's how we go to Aliens, which you're right. I mean, Alien was more storyline. How did this happen? Then we have Aliens, which is just James Cameron, and game over, man, game over. So, you got the fucking special effects, you got all the awesome shit. And then, after that, then we get into a whole mess of stuff. And then, of course, we got the Predators versus Aliens and all that. And I mean, some of them are okay. Some of them are not so bad. But, I think this year it's definitely been a good year for sci-fi and fantasy. Dune 2, I thought was a masterpiece. I'm actually upset that I missed that in the theaters.
Yeah, I love
it. Fantastic. It was fantastic. I mean, that's one of the few almost 3-hour movies that I can watch, honestly, probably every day of the week. I have very few in there.
Watch it once.
It's true.
But visually is good.
Kids.
But there was a few that I wish I would have seen in theaters, and of course, let's just say Deadpool and Wolverine was just fantastic. It brought the MCU back to where it needed to be.
Did you get the chance yet?
I fell asleep maybe a third of the way through. I go to bed early, man.
Look, that's fair. That's fair. I get it.
We're parents now.
I had that on my finish list, and I'll watch the new Aliens, and we'll have a conversation about this again.
There we go.
What I loved about Daredevil Wolverine is my hope is that it silenced all these like online Disney Marvel haters who constantly like, oh, Disney ruins everything. It's a buffet, man. You don't have to eat everything. You don't have to like everything. It doesn't mean the stuff that you loved went away. But Daredevil and Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, I felt like was a wonderful spiritual successor to the first two films.
It's very entertaining.
And honestly, a great homage to the 20th Century Fox, which they did at the ending.
Right.
Bringing in all the behind the scenes stuff and everything else.
It
was a beautiful goodbye. Like, hey, thank you for sharing all this stuff with us. Now we're gonna hopefully take care of it and keep moving it forward.
Right.
And they didn't try to do too much. So no, it was great. And at the end of the day, we all know this. There's always gonna be haters. Yeah. So we just got to drown that noise. I mean, now, of course, now that everything's gone to what is it? Not Sean Gunn, James Gunn.
James Gunn. Yep.
Yeah, James Gunn over at the DCEU. Everybody's like, oh, bring back Zack Snyder. And it's the same people that were complaining about Zack Snyder.
Right.
So
right.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you enjoy
the
it, you enjoy it.
movies you loved will still be there.
Yep.
And I have no opposition to seeing a new director's take on everything. I mean, look, who didn't love Guardians of the Galaxy 1? I mean, that was one of the
That was a great movie.
I put that in top
Fantastic.
5 of the
Same.
entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Same.
I mean, that ending scene where they like are all coming together and they have that like classic the assembling the team in the finale of Guardians of the Galaxy is what got James Gunn the job to do Suicide Squad and hopefully do Justice League. And
they only came back for part 3, and they told Disney, they're like, we're only going to do this if you bring James Gunn back. Because he was already fired because of, posts that he did back 20 years ago.
I remember. Yeah.
So it's crazy.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that he's keeping some Elseworlds stuff alive. There's some haters out there on Pattinson. I loved Robert Pattinson on Batman. Batman has been done as dark and gritty, as super campy, as whatever happened those few years with Batman.
This is the first detective Batman.
But this was the first detective Batman, and I loved every bit of that because that's the Batman comics I grew up on, was the detective ones. I thought Pattinson did a great job. I thought the Penguin was wonderful this year.
Are you talking about the last Batman movie?
Yeah,
it was dark, but it was kind of
that chase scene with him and the Penguin is top 3 car chase scenes for me of all time.
You have almost no credibility if you say, Pattinson did Twilight. Why would he do this? Like that dude's movie catalog is so incredible at this point.
Especially A24.
He's a fantastic actor. And I really look forward to seeing how they
Harry Potter too
finish off. He was shortly. Cedric Diggory. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Goblet of Fire.
I love it. Well, listen, guys, let's get ready to wrap this up again. Be sure to join us this Saturday. It's for a great cause. Come out, have some fun. We have some really cool prizes. There's some secrets out there that we're not ready to reveal yet. Could be some, premiere movie passes out there. We got some stuff from Sailfish coming in that I got to keep on the down low. So be sure to come out this Saturday from 12 to 4. Bring the family. Great food, good times, and for a wonderful cause. Like, let's help out our neighbors to the west. Plain and simple. That's what it's all about. Absolutely. That's what we try to do here. So, Daniel, Brennan, hang out for a little bit. Thank you guys for listening here and watching on Zero Dark Nerdy. This will be up on YouTube. It's already live right now on Facebook. Well, we're going to put it on YouTube, and then we're going to put it on audio here in a couple days. But we look forward to seeing you. You're all welcome, and hopefully the weather's going to be great. Even if it's not, we're going to have a good time. We'll make it work.
We're still going to
make it work. We'll make it work.
And you'll get to try the not guilty. Give us your opinion.
Try my signature stamp.
There you go. On behalf of everybody from Zero Dark Dirty, we'll see you next time. Peace.